Hello, my name is Talon Brown. I'm the owner of Lioness Roofing. I'm here at 5353 Dogwood Court in Powder Springs, Georgia for a Jorgi Olivera Camino. And this is actually regarding a claim with a date of loss September 12, 2023. Claim number is 0749249702. Today's date is May 14th, 26. And right now it's a cool, well, not cool, but it's pretty hot up here. It's about 20 degrees, a little bit hotter than what the ambient temperature in the air is, but it's 77 degrees. So I wanted to give you a backstory on this roof before we begin. So Allstate wrote for repairs on this roof. They were covering some soft metals that had some hail damage. And I guess there's a bit of back and forth between Allstate and a few companies regarding hail damage to the shingles. I've looked at it. It does look like there's definitely some everything going on here. Wind, hail, old roof. And also wanted to point out, Allstate wrote for 16 shingles to be removed and replaced as individual shingle replacement. I just did an inspection, you'll have that report, but there's 28 wind damaged shingles now on this back side. There's 5 on this back side, and I've labeled these all differently for the report. We have 1 on this slope, 1 on this dormer. We have 4 on this gable extension, 3 on the other side, and then we have 4 on this front side right over here. So have quite a bit more damage now. Now getting back to what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be performing a National Association of Forensic Engineers type repairability assessment for asphalt composition shingles. So that's going to be our methodology. So that way we can prove that we're doing an industry standard method of assessing repairs. Now what we'll be using is, we'll be using a painter's brush, a hammer, and a tool called a roof snake. Now I can already see from quite a few existing examples, and I'll move this pitch hopper to show one. There's already been some, what looks like to me, assessments or temporaries. You can see this one failed pretty significantly. You got creases at the top of the shingles. There's another one, looks like down here. You can see these shingles have failed significantly. They're all creased, not like the ones around them. You can see the difference. These are all creased and damaged. Then we have this right over here. All the shingles around it are creased and damaged, broken. And then even above, right over here where there's a chimney, there is some newer shingles that are also creased. All the older shingles around those newer shingles are creased and damaged. So there's plenty of signs that show this roof is not repairable. And here's another thing too. So it looks like gray on this side is a similar match, but then black is definitely not a similar match. You can see that's very, very different. And why I'm bringing that up is, what do we do about the front that needs to be repaired? You know, this gray shingle, for instance, that's not very similar to the front. It's more similar to the back. So what do we do about, you know, if this roof is repairable, which we're going to know in just a little bit here, how do we repair it? How do we get a similar match? Do we use 2 different shingles? Because I don't even think a black shingle would match this. There is a difference. So I wanted to keep that in mind. And then I also wanted to note that a lot of these exposures, you know, these 3 tabs, these are 5.5 inch exposure. A lot of these exposures on this roof are between 4.5 inch and 5 inch, and that poses another issue because that means these shingles aren't going to seal properly if the proper exposure is not being met. So we have quite a few issues here, and I say each one is pretty important because it's about doing it the right way and not just slapping individual shingle replacements on the roof if they're damaging the roof. Now, you can see we have one shingle with 2 tabs missing already. And we're going to be manipulating mostly these courses right here, 5C through 6C and all of 7. These are the ones that we're going to be really getting into, and just wanted to show you on camera that they're still sealed. That one looks like it's starting to lift. This one's still sealed, still sealed, still sealed, and 7 as well. And then also just notice the condition of them. There's no creases, still good. Okay. Now what we're going to do with this painter's brush, it's very soft. This is to show you what wind and rain are going to do over a long period of time. So we have our control square right here. And we just go across the control square like this. It's not losing any granules. You see it's not rubbing them off. And we're going to do the same thing to those courses we just mentioned, 6C through 5C and 7A through 7C. See, it's taking the shock off, but it's not taking granules off. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to very, very carefully, we're going to make sure you're following me. Perfect. We're going to very gently unseal these shingles. You can already see it's actually starting to crease, not even doing much. I'm trying to be very careful, but this is a very brittle shingle. Hoping this video is really capturing the fact that no matter how slow I go, it's bending the shingle and it's losing granules. Okay, now that we have everything unsealed, next step is to get all these fasteners out of here. And we're going to try to do that extremely carefully. Okay, there's one. What I'll do is I'll lift it up from underneath, and then should give me enough room to get right on top, just like that, and pull it out. It's like they're 1 1/4 inch nails. Now we can't use the same holes or the same nails. So I had 4 in that first row, now there's a second row. There's 5. Something like that tore through the fastener there. What that means is the nail tore through the shingle because it's very brittle. Seven. Have one more and then we can release the shingle. Okay, that's 8. That should be everything. We should be able to pull this out now. And making sure no torn underlayment looks good. I'm already seeing that the shingles they've lost already a lot of granules. I'm catching a bunch of granules here where this pitch hopper is. And they are already starting to break and crease. I mean, they're very brittle. There's not a lot of pliability. Like, look at this shingle. See that? This is, you know, without using a roof snake, that's how you normally do it. You got the, you know, if you're lapping these shingles correctly, you lift that shingle up like that so you can get the nail line and see, no granule loss. You can go all the way up. That's a healthy shingle, and that stays like that for at least 10 years where you can manipulate that shingle. I've seen right around the 10-year mark is when they start to lose their pliability, and it's questionable depending on a lot of different variables, on ventilation, on quality of the shingle itself. But this roof is showing signs that it's not pliable. There's a lap of the underlayment getting caught right there, so I'm going to have to very carefully help guide this shingle. Okay, so there we go. And now we're going to use our own different nails. Mine are going to be bright orange, so we can show you exactly where we're putting them, which is the manufacturer's installation line. So there's a line on the shingles, and that's where we want to put them. I'm going to use a glove holding this roof snake because it kind of eats up your hand if you don't. So that first nail is right here, and we're going to go right next to it because we can't use that same hole. It's always a two-part action because what the roof snake does is it drives the nail down flush, but then when it drives it down, it leaves this much space where then you got to take it off the hammer, off of the roof snake, off the nail, and then you have to put it right on top and hit it again so it's flush because your nail's got to be flush. So it's a two-step process. but it's supposed to minimize lifting the shingles. Right there. Okay, that's flush. And sometimes, because the roof snake's truly not parallel to the plane of the roof, you'll get some bent nails. It's not a perfect tool. It's just the tool that you can say and close the case of improper tools. I mean, this tool is favored by many insurance companies because it does allow minimal lifting to shingles. And this one had two, because this is where two different shingles meet. That one's good. Okay. All right, so we got our first 4 in. I'm already seeing more creasing. It's exaggerating the creases that started when we were removing the nails. Gently lift that corner up. And you can see this is already sealing down. The roof is very hot. Okay, it's flush-ish. Definitely seeing some creasing. Last one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's so broken. All right, so let's show you guys something here. Turn this around. All right, control square. This is to mimic wind and rain, by the way. This is why we do this. So you can see, focus on the control square. No granules are being lost, right? I come over here. Okay, you can already see it. It's creasing. We don't even have to do it that hard. This doesn't need to be, we're just showing you a lot are coming off because the shingles are broken, especially, look at that. I mean, flip it around so I can point to it. Look at all that creasing. That was not like that before. I have clear pictures showing that. This thing is so broken. And minimal lifting. I mean, that's why we use this roof snake. Creasing. Look at that crease there, just runs through the whole top of the shingle, just like in all these other temporaries and attempts. So this is clearly damaged. This roof cannot sustain individual shingle replacement with proper tools or with proper technique, which is what we proved today. So if Allstate is still going to make the argument that this roof is repairable, we encourage and invite them to come out here and show us with their own assessment and proper methodology using proper technique and proper tools.